Greetings and salutations, fellow gamers. Lukey P here with the next episode of Supreme Ruler Ultimate Let's Play Brazil. So in our last episode we started building some research centres. We're going to carry on building those. Those will probably be building for the next maybe 1 or 2 episodes. And we were using our large chunk of cash there to start building up the infrastructure. You see these guys are building an airbase down there, which I'll just tick on and let them get on with building. Back down to 2.2% unemployment. Not a lot of spare people left in our economy. Inflation's up to 20.3%, so we need to watch what we're spending. We'll probably be sending these guys around the country building air bases all over the place actually, just to improve the supply. Let's just have a check what that's done to see if we need to build a no, I don't think we do need to build we don't need a supply depot there as well. That's good supply. So the question is, where else has some things built which might need some supply? Up here maybe. So it's got a consumer goods plant. It's got 3 hydro plants. There's still a lot of things which do need supply. Let's have a look at the supply around this area. So that's not particularly amazing, is it? Supplies are rightish there. That's a consumer goods plant with like 56% supply, which seems a bit of a waste. Almost 70% supply. Industrial plants. That's because it's got sea piers and airfields. They don't do a great deal for supply versus sea ports and air bases, which do a lot. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to move these units up here. So we've got an industrial goods plant and a consumer goods plant and a couple of coal power plants all next to each other. It's worth improving our supply there. Automatic offer. Yep. Consumer goods. New alliance formed. New alliance between Germany and Italy. Well, that had been coming for a while. Let's sell some of our oil while we're over here in Europe. Looking at what's going on. Some to Germany. To you. So some to Italy. Not offering as much as they once did. So some to France as well. Let's just see if anybody's having a fire sale on industrial goods. I suspect not somehow. No, that's fine. Let's put my oil down to 4 million, which is still plenty for me. So we move this unit up here. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to build a seaport rather than an air base, because in the future we may want some of these coastal areas to start building naval production facilities, and so having a seaport will be helpful. A military seaport. Then let's demolish the sea pier which is there at the moment, because the seaport's better. Research breakthrough, 2 projects of 2, so we should start thinking about what we want to research next. So let's go and have a look. So we're doing magnetic tapes, and I think the reason we were doing magnetic tapes is because we were looking for quality control scans, which we need modern microscopes for. So nope, microscopes, bingo. Okay, very good. And the reason we were looking for modern microscopes is quality control standards eventually leads to improved power grids, which basically puts up all your power production by 50%, which is a pretty good technology to have. Argentina want me to sell agricultural goods to them at a loss. I'm not going to do that, but I will go and offer to sell them some direct if they're that desperate for agriculture. I do. They're running out of money. Oh, that's why they couldn't offer us much. Okay. Yeah, they rejected that because they must have changed their mind about the price of agriculture when the day ticked over. So let's just make more or less the same offer again. And this time it succeeded. Well, roughly break even, so we'll accept that. Let's just clear all those out. Okay. You'll notice down here that there's a chunk of these countries starting to go Axis, which I've seen happen in the past, and they do tend to flip ally later on in the war, but they've gone Axis for now. Doesn't really affect us. I mean, the war doesn't really come to South America, at least not normally, but we will see. Only 60 days left until the regional elections in Colombia. Now, we didn't have to worry about that, but if we weren't a dictatorship, we would have to start thinking about whether we thought we could win the election, and probably start having to blow our inflation to basically bribe our people to vote for us with improved social services. Because if I look at what they think of us, 26% domestic approval rating, that's not really that good. But that's because we are using things. Declared war on Norway. It is a bad time to be part of Scandinavia, I sense, although they may struggle to get across and get a land. Pact of Steel. I thought I'd already seen that announcement. Maybe I got confused. Okay, so we're ticking along. Days and months are passing, which is fine. We're making roughly, what, 2 million-ish a day? Yeah, which is absolutely fine. Let's just see what, yeah, supply's gone to, yeah, it stayed around 100 around here. So around here would actually be a really good place to start building things up as well, in the future. Oh, here we go. Germany has declared war on France. The real World War II has begun. I think a lot of Germany's forces are distracted by this war with Norway. It's always interesting to watch the European war because it does tend to go different ways depending on how it's going on. Yeah, so it looks like Italy are now pushing France way back. Wow, look at Greece. They must be really desperate for petrol. They want to pay me for 27 million, they want to pay me 70 million. 27 million worth of goods and they want to give me 70 million for it. I will very happily accept that. Thank you very much, Greece. I'm just wondering about building more rubber plants. No, we're still alright. There's no need to build them and overheat our economy even more than it already is. Sorry, when you say overheating the economy, for anyone who doesn't know, that's when that refers to the economy being hot, which generally means your inflation is out of control. And we're at 20% and we're back at 2.3% unemployment. Are we finished with our? We are finished with our seaport. So what's happened to supply here? It's gone to hover between 89. So we may build a supply depot there. Supply depot there. Road from there to there. Construction. Very good. Going to hit 4 billion soon, I think, which may make me think about investing in another. Germany has declared war on Albania. Ethiopia. Yeah, we've still got a soft spot for Ethiopia. Completely random country to have a soft spot for in this game, but like I say, I played I think my first ever proper serious playthrough way back on Supreme Ruler 2020 was with Ethiopia, so I always have a soft spot for them. France not doing well under the twin assaults of Italy and Germany. I think this could be the end for France. Albania's gone, so Germany took them pretty comfortably. Be interesting to see the way this war goes actually. So sometimes Germany then decides to take Spain, which they didn't do in real life, but yeah, interesting. Interesting. So we are going to hit, yeah, I think I'm going to want to build I'm pretty sure we did that, but just in case, I think I'm going to want to build another research facility because our money is doing well enough to justify it. So build military research centre. See what that does to our daily balance. Oh, that's the initial spending hit. Now let's see. Yeah, it's still pretty comfortable. A lot more people are coming to us for expensive oil, which is interesting. It does suggest with the outbreak of war, oil is suddenly very popular. I wonder why. Could it be large amounts of German armoured tanks rolling across Europe? Quite probably. What's happening over here? Well, Paris has fallen. Yeah, I don't like France's chances really at all. I mean, there's a possibility that France here will fall and they will move their capital to one of their colonies. The real interesting thing will be is, will Germany go after the UK? Let's do some trading with the UK before they get too worried. Oh, the UK changed their mind about wanting that up petrol from us, okay. We haven't traded with China for a little bit. Let's see how they're getting on. Probably something a little bit more, they're offering okay margins on it. Okay, so that was 62 million worth of goods sold for nearly 90 million, so that's a 50% markup. So that is why we keep things off the market, you see here, because we could sell it on the open market for what, about 16? It's going to be 20 something percent markup it was going for on the market. Ever so slightly loss making, but it's fine, we'll take that one. So we can see we've built a research facility and we've comfortably then earned the money back. The question becomes, do we build another one? Let's just scout about where we're going to put our next okay, it's doing that baffling jump around thing, which it often does. That's got pretty good supply because that would be radiating out from that supply port. This is 77% supply, and it's a consumer goods plant. What we got around here? We've got industrial goods, we've got an airfield, we've got a barracks. Okay, I think probably that's our next place. And we've got a completely random industrial complex with nothing on it, so we will scrap that. Move up here to Recife. Must be another war. It's here to become part. Japan has declared war on Afghanistan. Slightly random. Not quite sure how Japan's going to manage to invade Afghanistan, but that is between the Japanese War Ministry and I do wonder what's happened here. Something's happened. Our economy's stalled because we've run out of metal ore. Wonder how long ago that happened. I didn't notice. So, how comes we're using so much metal ore? It's just literally day-to-day running, isn't it? Let's bring all of the ones we've got online. Still not enough, so we do need some more metal ore plants or ore mines soon. Yeah, I thought we might have been due some more of these by now. So this is our second lot, of which we have 4. So you should zip up to there because you are going to be building some ore mines for me. Coal's got pretty expensive. I say pretty expensive, it's enough that it's got marked with that. But saying that, I can still have 10 million for not much, so we're still not going to invest in mass production of coal. I don't think we're going to buy it off the market because it is still pretty cheap. Another war, Latvia. Okay. Unemployment's back down to 2.2%. France has fallen. Oh, well, that's going to change the landscape of... and look here, Italy's got most of southern France. I'm sure Vichy France will form at some point, and yeah. Vichy France, I suspect is triggered by an event sometime, but so we're losing money each day, but it's not a problem. The reason we're losing money is we're doing building projects up there, building project down there, and 3 research centres down there. But that is not a concern. West Africa are approaching me direct because they no longer have France as their overlord. I'll happily take that as a deal. Another research breakthrough, magnetic tapes. So we're going to finish modern microscopes next, and that is what's going to allow us to how do I look at this? So modern microscopes gets me to quality control standards. So I put that in the queue, so that as soon as it's finished modern microscopes, it will pop onto quality control standards without me potentially losing some time while I realise I haven't queued up anything. What on earth? Japan's been eliminated. I've never seen that happen before. Who'd they lose to? China. Well, I've never seen that happen before in one of my games. So the traditional, the historical thing is Japan invades and occupies a large part of China for the Second World War. That's the historical thing. Traditionally on this, Japan and China have fought themselves to a draw. Evidently here they've managed to land, and China's going to be so incredibly overpowered because they've just taken the Japanese population as well, and Japan wasn't a small country on this, so wow. Okay, the only good news is they'll be even more desperate for oil. 50% margin. Yeah, okay, we'll take that. MacLeod. Oh, that's the I think, is that the name of the Japanese region of? Oh, I don't know actually. I think that might have been the name of the Japanese region of China, but I wouldn't swear to it. So we're building up. Our economy is very nice and balanced. Oh, we missed that offer from a while ago. Okay, we'll accept that. If it offers more sense, we'll accept that as well. So our economy is nice and balanced. So you can see we spend a lot more on production than we do make from selling it. But that's because we're stockpiling a load to sell abroad and exporting a load. So we're exporting 14.41 million a day. So in reality, you add that to that, which puts you up to 46 million versus a 41 million production cost. And while that's going on, we're also stockpiling 90% of our oil and about 50% of our commercial goods. The reason that's so expensive is because we're spending 35 million a turn on constructions, or a day on constructions, and we're now spending a bit more on research as well. So really the thing we want most is we want more people. Look at our inflation, 21.1% now. Maybe I need to put taxes up more. Can't imagine that's going to be popular, but 70% tax rate. If I was in a country with a 70% tax rate, I'm pretty sure I'd look to move abroad. Because at that point you've really got to ask yourself, is it worth going to work given you get 30% of what you work for? So what have we got here? We've got a seaport, we've got a barracks, and they can consume the goods. So given that's a seaport, why isn't supply better there? Only 72%. I think I probably want to build another supply depot up there, but I'm probably not going to do that right now, just because further isolate Poland, which no longer exists because Hitler's already conquered it, but nice historical event triggering game. It's the idea of that pact in the real world was, yes, there were secret clauses which carved up Eastern Europe. Well, at this point Eastern Europe barely exists, and it was a way of Hitler securing his eastern flank while he dealt with France, and at this point he's already conquered France, so, but you know. Okay, I think we are moving to Hungary. Have been offering us good deals on petroleum for a while, so let's move them to auto accept. We probably don't need all of our plants open, so let's just turn one off. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so this has gone, it's another slow and steady episode, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, I love this kind of game because you're slowly making money, you're building up your capacity. The rest of the world's about to spend a decade in a war which will, it may make a massive empire out of someone, but odds are it's going to drain them all of men and machines and power and everything. It may throw up a few surprises, like the Chinese taking over Japan. So we've finished our other 2 research centres down there, haven't we? When did we finish those? Yeah, around about the end of August. So we can do another 2 research things now. What do we want to research? Basic submarines we'd like. Jet engine theories. Yeah. So submarines, I'd just like to have a few of those because they're falling like hotcakes in Europe. Lithuania's gone, Luxembourg's gone. Belgium and Amsterdam are still existing. So sorry, it's good to build submarines because you can just kind of sneak them around, and I'll probably park them off the coast of Venezuela there when I eventually go to war with them. Not that they have much of a navy, but if any of their units decide to try and retreat across water or use water as a shortcut, they won't last very long with subs out to get them. I'm just wondering about building another research facility there, which I think I'm going to, because this is a pretty comfortable economy right now. I mean, inflation and unemployment are a worry, but the quicker we get our research, the quicker we start getting a tech lead, and the quicker we start conquering people, which means we can have more people working without our unemployment being so low and our inflation being so high. So there we go. So yeah, all our investment in earlier episodes is paying off. We're able to sell loads of stuff on the market, both direct and through people approaching us. We've seen people approaching us for oil and offering us 2, sometimes even 3 times what it's worth. Consumer goods have a fair margin. I've got a stock of 200,000 on those now. So at the start of next episode, if I wanted to, I could probably easily breach 5 billion by just wandering off and selling it to people who I think need it. So we'll probably keep an eye out on who's requesting consumer goods via some of our automatic trades and go and see if they want a lump sum for a large sum of money or something. Electricity's fine, there's a nice little buffer on that. Metal ore, we fixed that problem we had. Coal, we've decided to import, and given all the money we've got, let's see about importing another 5 million or so. And everything is ticking along very, very nicely. We may have to think about building some more rubber plants next episode. We've started improving the supply up and down our coast here. So yeah, everything is going well. I'm pretty pleased with how this is working out, given probably about 5 or 6 episodes ago I was looking at the economy and thinking, oh, that looks nasty. But followed the same patterns, build up your oil as Brazil, build up a bit of your electricity, then look to build industry and consumer, and export a load of consumer goods. It works very well as a strategy. So we are out of time. I will wrap up the episode there. As always, any comments or questions, do drop them below the video. Please do like or subscribe to my channel if you're finding it useful and interesting. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.